Everyone, I'm Prachi Agarwal. Welcome to our channel Learn Competitive Programming with CodeChef. If you are interested in competitive programming and want to learn and master data structures and algorithms, then this is a one-stop destination for you. Every week we'll post CodeChef problem explanations, conceptual videos on various programming paradigms, and also conduct live problem-solving sessions. But before we actually get started, here's a reminder to hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. Great. Now that you have subscribed, let's get started. Welcome back to the series Introduction to Programming. So in the previous video, we discussed all about C++ operators. Now in this video, we'll be discussing about scenarios where we have to make a decision based on a certain condition. So what can we do in C++ to implement this scenario? We'll see that. Now we have already seen that what kind of conditions can be there in the flowchart series, and based on those conditions, how do we make a decision? So there we used a very simple example of finding out whether the number is even or odd. So we had to use a very simple expression that included a modulus operator and also the equal to operator. That is n modulus 2 equal 0. This is the expression which will help us decide whether our number is even or it is odd. So if this expression yields a value as true, then we know that our number is even. And if this expression yields a value as false, then we know that the number is odd. Now, this entire thing that you see represented here has to be coded. Now, in order to code this piece of information that we have just shown here, there must be certain statements, right, which would be specific to any language. So here we are using C++. So let us discuss what do we have in C++ such that you can execute these kind of conditions and then make a decision based on that. And what do you mean by making a decision? So here decision making means that if suppose this condition yields true, then in that case, what certain set of statements have to be executed in the code will be decided by the fact that this condition has yielded the answer as true. And if this condition is false, meaning if the number is odd, then there may be a certain set of statements that have to be executed in a particular program. So that is what decision making means when we are coding. So for these kind of things, we have if-else statements. Now, if-else is very relatable to what we have been talking about here. So, if you'll say that if n modulus 2 is equal 0, if n modulus 2 is equal 0, then there will be certain set of statements to be executed, else, and the else part will be when this condition has become false, then again there will be certain set of statements to be executed. Now, what is the exact syntax of using these if-else statements? Let us see that. So the syntax that you use is very simple. So when we had to make a decision, there were two scenarios, right? Either our expression or our condition can have the answer as true, or it can have the answer as false. So that is why you can see here that we have two blocks. We have the if block and we have the else block. So if block is associated with the condition being true and the else block is associated with the condition being false. So the syntax here you can see it's very simple. So you write an if and then inside the bracket you place the condition. Now this condition has to be an expression which is a Boolean expression. That is, it only has an answer as true or false. So that expression we place here, this expression can have relational operators, logical operators, even arithmetic operators. Then we are using these curly braces. So these curly braces are used to establish that particular set of statements are associated with the if condition and they should only be executed if the condition is true. And similarly for else also we use these curly braces just to ensure that whatever statements are placed inside this else condition should only be executed if this particular condition turns out to be false. So this is how we use if-else statement. Now you must have understood that definitely only one part of the code will be getting executed. That is either the part of the code which is placed inside the if block or the part of the code which is placed inside the else block. So both of them can never be executed simultaneously. Why? Because we are making a decision, right? That if the condition is true, then we execute this block, and when this block gets executed, after it finishes executing, then this entire part of the code will be over, and whatever statements will be written after this else will get executed, or if no statements are written, then the program will end. And same thing happens if the condition is false and it goes to the else part. So now here we are just dealing with two scenarios, that is either the condition is true or the condition is false, and there is just one condition. But there can be certain other scenarios where you want to use multiple conditions in a program. Based on multiple conditions, you need to make your decision. So how do we do that? So in C++, for even that we have a construct similar as if-else. It is known as the if-else ladder. So to use multiple if-else, nothing much changes, just the fact that after if, the first if condition remains the same as it is. And you can see here I have written condition 1. So if the first condition is true, then definitely this if will get executed and then it will just end. Means the program will just end, or the statements written after this else part will get executed. But if this condition is false, then it will go to the second condition, that is the second if-else block. So that second block we write as else if. So inside else if, you can see that I have placed the second condition. Now if the second condition is true, then this part of the code will get executed and then it will come here. Otherwise, it will go to the third condition, and so on. So this way you can place as many conditions as you want in a particular program. And then when all the conditions are over and you come to the last part where you want that if all the conditions are false, then in that case also some part of the code or some piece of information should be executed, then that thing is placed inside the else block. And if all the conditions are false, then this else block gets executed. Now we have seen much of the theory part, so let us go to the CodeChef IDE and test for ourselves that how we can use these in the form of a C++ code. Let's do that even odd example that we've been talking about in each of our videos. So for that, we'll require a number first of all, n. Then after that, we need to write the expression. So our expression is n modulus 2 equal 0. Now this expression has to be placed inside an if condition. So we'll write if and bracket. So inside the bracket we have placed our condition, which was n modulus 2 equal 0. Now we will make an if block which can be done by using the curly braces. So this is an if block. Whatever you will write inside this will only get executed if this condition is true. So we'll write a print statement that it should print even, because if this condition is true, then it will be an even number. Otherwise, we'll write an else block, and inside the else block, again we'll write a print statement which says odd. So you can see that I have not given any value to n, means I have not initialized n, and also I have not taken any input. So in this program, let us take user input. We'll take input for n. Now let us use this custom input. So I'll give the input as say suppose 10 and run this program. So this if condition should get executed and only even should be printed as the answer. So you can see that our input is 10 and the output was even. Now let us change our input to some odd number. Let us take 7 and again run this program. Now you will see that we will get as output odd. So you see that the else part was executed because this condition was false. N modulus 2 means 7 modulus 2 is not equals to 0. So you see that this is how we use if-else statement in C++ program. This is pretty simple, right? Now if we want to use the if-else ladder, it can be demonstrated with the help of a very simple example here. I have taken a number as input and it just says that whether this number lies in the range of 1 to 10 or 11 to 20 or it does not lie in that range. So we will check first of all whether it lies in the range of 1 to 10 or not. So this is a very simple expression which I'm sure that you can understand. If this condition is true, then it will print A lies in the range 1 to 10. And see here that we have used both relational operator and as well as logical operator. Now if this condition is false, then it will go to the else if part and check whether the number lies in the range of 11 to 20. If not, then it will go to the else part. Finally, it means that the number does not lie within the range of 1 to 20. So in the else part, we will print that A does not lie within the range of 1 to 20. Now let us take some examples and test whether the code is working or not. So first we will take an example. We will take the input as -1. So now -1 does not lie in the range 1 to 20. So it should go to the else part. So you can see that there is a compilation error here. So let us see what is the error in the program. I forgot to put a semicolon here. So you see that all of these things, the syntax of the language that we are using, it is so important. And the advantage of using IDE is that it will raise an error if you are using the wrong syntax or you have forgotten to use something, like I forgot to use a semicolon at the end of a line. So that is why we should always prefer using an IDE whenever we are coding. Now let us come back and run our program. So this time it will go to the else part and it will print A does not lie within the range of 1 to 20. Now let us test for something else like 10. So it should print that A lies in the range of 1 to 10. So you see the output is A lies in the range 1 to 10. So this is how we can use if else in a proper manner. Now we've been using random programs to test whatever we are learning. Now it is time for you to actually be doing competitive programming. So you see in this CodeChef IDE that here you can put the contest name and the problem name and select it and then write the code for that particular problem. So this is basically like writing a problem on an online judge. Now what is an online judge and what is the advantage of using an online judge when we are doing competitive programming? So let me tell you about that. So basically, online judge is a system such that when you submit a code for a particular problem, then the code is automatically compiled, executed and tested whether the code is correct or not with the help of a pre-constructed test data. Now what is this test data all about? So when you need to check whether your program is correct or not, then you do that on the basis of a particular input and the corresponding output, right? So that is what this test data contains. This test data contains a large set of input output related to that problem, and our code is supposed to match all of those input outputs. So what happens in an online judge is that our code is given all of those inputs one by one, and then it is checked whether our code output is matching with the output that is present in the test data for that particular input or not. So if all of those input outputs are matching, then in that case our code is correct. And if even if one test case is not matching, then in that case our code will be wrong. So that is what happens, and the format should also match. So it is not like that, like for example, the input is 40 and space again 8. So the input has to be 40 space 8, or like one integer space the other integer. But suppose in your program, the input is like 40 and 8, means in separate lines. So if the format is even not matching, then also the code will be wrong. Now the last part is that this online judge has some restrictions to our code, like the time limit and the memory limit. So if all of these restrictions are there, and if these restrictions are not kept in mind, if this fails, somehow our code fails because of this time limit or memory limit, then in that case also our code will be wrong. So this is how an online judge works. Now let us go to an actual problem on the CodeChef page and discuss about it. So suppose this is the problem that you're supposed to be coding. So first of all, you'll find the problem statement in which the problem is explained. Then after that, you'll find input and output. So it will be very clear here that what format should be used to take the input and what should be the output. Then you will find the constraint section. So in the constraint section, you will find that in the test data, in what range your input values will be there. So like here we have n as the input. So n will be present in the range of 10 to 10 to the power 6. The values of n which will be there in the test data will be from 10 to 10 to the power 6. Now you'll have some sample inputs and outputs. So these sample input outputs are there so that you can have an idea that how you are going to take the input and what should be the output corresponding to that particular input. So for every problem, you'll have all of these things. Then this is a bit of an explanation. So this may or may not be there depending upon the problem. Now you can see here a time limit. So the time limit that is given for this particular program is 1 second. Now for different programs or for different competitive coding problems, this time limit may vary. And the source limit is given as 50,000 bytes. So this is just like memory limit. So we are using variables and we are using certain inputs, certain data structures. So that is why a memory limit is also assigned for every particular program. And these are the languages in which you can write this program. So definitely there are a lot of languages, so you can use any. Now, this is where you can submit your problem. So let us open that in another tab and show you. So if you click on this submit button, then you will land on this page. This is the same as the CodeChef IDE that we were using. The difference is just that now you can see here that a contest code is present here and the problem code is present here. So whatever code you write here and submit will be for that particular problem that is written here, for this particular problem code that is written here. So you can use this IDE to answer for this problem. So this problem is an example of the if-else that we were discussing. So let us finally code it using an online judge. Now here it is given that we will have an integer n and we have to check if its second largest digit is 7 or not. If the digit is 7, if the second last digit is 7, then we will print 1 as the output, otherwise we will print 0 as the output. So you can see the input is one and only line, that is a single integer n, and the output will be either 1 or 0 depending on the fact that the second last digit is 7 or not. So this seems pretty simple. Let us just code this. So we'll click on the submit button. It will take us to the CodeChef IDE. Now here we will select C++. So let's start the code by taking the input. So we require input for an integer n here. So let's declare n and then take the input. Now after taking the input, we have to check on the logic, that what will be the logic for finding out the second last digit of a number. Let us take an example as n equals to 476. Now how do we find the last digit of any particular number? So that is pretty simple. If we can just find the remainder of any number divided by 10, then it will give us the last digit of the number. So 476 modulus 10 will give us Now what will dividing by 10 give us? 476 divided by 10. What will this give? This will give us 47.6. Now you must have noticed in the program that we were using int. We are using an integer. So here if we do 476 divided by 10, then this decimal will not be able to reflect. So it will leave this decimal part out because of this integer data type, and it will only pick up this integer part, that is 47. And what is our requirement? Our requirement is the second last digit. So you see that if we perform this operation on n and then find out the last digit, after performing this operation we will be left with 47. Then if we perform modulus 10 on this, then we will be able to find out the second last digit of this number. So what are the operations that we will be using is n equals to n divided by 10. We are performing this division on n itself, and then after that we can find the second last digit. So this is a short form SLD for second last digit, and we just need to do n modulus 10. So this is the operation that we require to find out the second last digit of a number. So now that you have understood the logic, let's move further and code it. So here I'll be using the assignment operator that we discussed. So n divided by equal to 10. So what this means is that n equals to n divided by 10. So this operator we have already discussed, right? Now let us just find out that what will be the second last digit. So int SLD equals to n modulus 10. So this is our logic for finding out the second last digit of a number. Now we have the second last digit, we will place our if condition that if the second last digit is equal to 7, then in that case our answer Cout will be 1, or you can simply write 1, or in the else part, if the second last digit is not 7, then in that case our answer will be 0. So this is our code. Now we can submit our code. So you can also run our code in case you want to check if it is correct or not, or you can directly submit your code from here. So we will submit it, and then we will wait if it is giving us the correct answer or not. So guys, meanwhile this is running, I would like to say that this is the beginner series, and if you are watching this, then definitely you are in the process of learning competitive programming. So definitely you can search for problems here. There are like various problems for every level, either beginner or medium, hard. Each kind of level problems are there on the CodeChef IDE where you can come and practice them. And also there is a starter contest which is specifically for beginners. So do attend that contest in order to test that how much you have learned. So you see that we have got the correct answer, and if you get the correct answer for any problem, then it will show the status as this. And if you make any mistake, so let me make a particular mistake in the program and print something as like instead of 1, let me print 10. And now if you submit the program, then you will definitely get a wrong answer. So you see that we have got the wrong answer here. So this is how we do a problem on an online judge. Now for your practice, I am giving you a problem that is find the second largest. So here you are given 3 integers A, B and C, and you have to find out the second largest number among them. So here you will have to make use of the if-else ladder. So try this program on your own. The link to all the problems that we have used in this program, that is the previous one and this practice problem, that you will find it in the description box below. So go there, practice this, and if you are not able to understand how to carry this forward, then you can always comment it and we'll be happy to help you. Also, please like the video if you enjoyed it, if you have learned something out of it, and keep watching.